Hi everybody. Today I've got an Arcane Bombardment deck graciously submitted by a viewer. I'm going to take it out on the standard ladder and see how it works and make some updates to it later on. Let's go. Alright, Red, let's see what you got for me here. This is a one-of copy of a Voidwing hybrid, I believe, if I'm remembering the message correctly. Opponent starts off with a Riveteer's Overlook. Can say, I like the way the deck looks already. It's got a lot of good things going for it. Let's start off, let's go Mirrex and Treasure Map. We have all of our colors in hand, so I don't need to be too cautious about the Mirrex. Opponent with a cheeky Duress here. What will we take? Takes Serum Snare. Yeah, no sense in taking the iteration. We're a ways off from it being good. Let's activate the treasure map here. Don't need a second iteration. I'll just pass it on back. We can keep up a bring the ending if there's anything too scary. Nope, opponent just passes it on over. That's fine. It's going to go land number 4. Now we can play out the Voidwing. Opponent with the what now? Grabby Giant. Makes a treasure. Alright, tell you what. Let's go looking with the treasure map. If we're up against an opponent playing with Grabby Giant, I think we've got a good opening here. Plus the Voidwing, we can get that back. I don't think we need to keep bringing the ending up. Don't make a fool out of me here. Virtue of Persistence. They could have paid for it anyway, I suppose. Alright, let's go Xander's Lounge. I guess, yeah, let's get the treasure map online. Treasure map number 2, no thank you. Put that to the bottom. Alright, so all kinds of treasure. Can start drawing with the Cove next turn. Or if we peel a Bombardment or Chandra off the top, that would be good as well. Opponent with the Soul of Windgrace brings back Riveteer's Overlook. So they're going to go grab a land with that. Okay. A lot of basic lands over there. Could be an interesting one. Let's draw with the Treasure Cove. Experimental Augury the draw. Alright, let's... I think we got to address this Soul of Windgrace. Let's try to drown and Ichor it. We're proliferating, so we get the Voidwing back. And let's play out the Voidwing. See if we can't get one starter poison counter onto our opponent. Suppose we could have played this second Mirrex. Now wait. They didn't steal that from us. Are they an Arcane Bombardment deck too? Nice. Okay. Go for it. Soul of Windgrace in a Bombardment deck. That is an angle I have not yet tried. Alright, let's go. We draw Vampire's Vengeance off the top. Let's draw with the Treasure Cove. Let's try to get to some of our heavy hitter stuff, or at least another way to get a poison counter on something. Opponent's got 2 mana up here. I don't know if we're going to connect with this Voidwing. Yeah, there's a Shieldred's Edict. I guess that's fine. Oh, an opponent with Duress. Okay, yeah, we I don't know. We could have countered something in there. We have so much Proliferate available, though. And we're still set up to draw with Treasure Cove. I'm not worried. Hey, Chandra. Okay, this is perfect. This is exactly what we're looking for. Now, hopefully she survives. Let's go Chandra. Let's exile the top 5. Nice, says the opponent. Alright, lots of spells. There's a Prologue. We can finally get something on our opponent here. Finally give them a poison counter. It's always a tricky balance. Even in the poison decks I've put together, you need a way to get that first counter on there and then proliferate them up. And it's always an adventure trying to find out what the right mix of cards is. Opponent plays out the Grabby Giant. We could Brotherhood's End to get rid of that, but that hits Chandra too. Ill-Timed Explosion doesn't hit Chandra though, which is why I've been playing it so much. Or we can Prologue and try to get that poison counter going. We're going to get 2 of whatever we cast. Yeah, let's go with the Prologue. The Giant's not a huge threat. Even if it does get an attack in against Chandra, she's going to survive. Opponent has the safekeeping for the Giant anyway. Oh, and they pick up Edict with Bombardment. Oh, and this repeated duressing is getting out of hand too. Okay. Opponent takes our Bring the Ending. Shieldred takes down Chandra. Safekeeping for the Giant. But we are going to give our opponent 2 poison counters. Pick up 2 cards. Okay. Vraska's Fall in hand as an instant. Let's draw with the Cove, I think, before we make any other decisions. 1, 2, nah. Change of plans. Would love to be able to activate the Mirrex and keep up Vraska's Fall if we need it. Opponent with another Soul of Windgrace. Okay. So that's possibly why so many basic lands. They're planning on this little mini combo. Always wanting to pull stuff out of there. I respect the commitment to the kind of calligraphy style lands. Alright, now let's draw with the Cove. Second Vraska's Fall. Well, it's poison counters if nothing else. Let's make a Mirrex token. Big score, the draw. Alright, let's go Galvanic Iteration. And let's do double Vraska's Fall. So that should take care of that board. And it will leave us with a couple of instants. Alright, let's try to attack. Let's see if we can land a hit. There we go. First poison counter from an attack this game. Opponent's got the Virtue of Persistence. Yeah. I mean, if that's their turn, we got a Might token. All right, let's go ahead and big score. Let's get rid of Vampire's Vengeance, since that doesn't seem to hit anything our opponent's got. We get a great draw of 2 lands. Kidding. So our opponent can bring back the Giant and the Soul of Windgrace, but I don't remember seeing anything else over there that we got to be worried about. I suppose they could steal our Voidwing Hybrid. Opponent holding priority for something? No. Okay. All right. So we're getting our opponent kind of close to the point where we can... oh, should have attacked there. Too quick on the button here. Too much talking, not enough attacking. Let's draw with this Treasure Cove. We get Blackleaf Cliffs. Oh, the curse of too many lands. All right, passing it on over. Hopefully that one poison counter doesn't do me in. Anyway, what was I saying? We've got Galvanic Iteration and a Fall in hand, so that's 2 counters. We can maybe make some Might tokens this turn. Try to get around whatever our opponent pulls out of the grave here. Opponent does go with the Voidwing. Alright, let's see what they decide to do here. Ooh, Deadly Cover-Up. So that's going to activate Bombardment, and there is a Duress under there. Alright, tell you what, let's go ahead and use Galvanic Iteration, because that's most likely what they're going to pull out of our grave, and then we can double up Vraska's Fall here. So it doesn't matter that there's nothing left for the second one to hit. The opponent still gets the poison counter. It's not dependent on the first part happening. We show our opponent a handful of lands. Take that. And finally, Deadly Cover-Up takes care of our Lonely Might token. Haven't even gotten a chance to give it some friends yet. And another Soul of Windgrace. Pulls out a mountain with that overlook. And we are going to make a Might token here. Our one sad path to victory. Well, we did get an Experimental Augury off the top. We can hopefully proliferate them up to 8 and then draw into something else. I'm going to take Drown here. This could perfectly deal with Windgrace, and our opponent doesn't have any mana left over for protection. Nor cards, I might add. Let's hit that with the Drown. Get them up to 9. And then with the attack from the Lonely Might, we got him to 10. Good game. Very nice. Alright, so after getting one game under my belt with this deck, let me take you through the deck adjustment process. Right now, I'm pulling out all the stuff that I don't think is really core to the deck, to our mission of putting poison counters on the opponent, and I'm putting that all on the left-hand side. So those are all candidates for elimination. I will say, as far as like the cards that are in here and the number of things that go towards our goal, I'm pretty happy with it. There's a lot of one-ofs that Red warned me about that are, of course, kind of toolboxy, but then there's not really many ways to search them up. You kind of have to depend on the draw. So I love the Sonio style of putting one card in there for a rainy day, even if you don't have the tutor, but I kind of wanted to make it a little bit more consistent, and of course, because it's me, I wanted to put in some extra copies of Bombardment, so I tack on one there. And we're just pulling more things to the left that are candidates for removal. I do like the combination of Ill-Timed Explosion with Deadly Cover-Up. I started reducing Galvanic Iteration here because that's nice, but you need something to play with it. Kept going back and forth on it. I decided to kind of stay true to Red's original design and focus a little more on copying things. So right here, I'm trying to balance things that give our opponent poison counters with proliferate effects. And I land on 2 Galvanic Iterations, go down a Brotherhood's End because we do have some of these board wipes up on the higher end. I end up taking out the end because it's a little situational for me. And then I kind of trim all those things on the bottom that you see there, including those infectious inquiries. I figure with Big Score and Ill-Timed Explosion, we've got enough draw, and especially since we've got extra copies of Experimental Augury in there. Decide to add a copy of Chandra too, since if we're going to be copying things, she's great at that. So here you see I'm looking at the land ratio. We're actually pretty even across all 3 colors. So now I go through and I adjust the land counts. Taking a look at Pit of Offerings, it looks fine to me. It's a nice utility card. I decide to go up to 4 copies of Vraska's Fall before we do our final land adjustment here. Yep, still pretty even. Black is a little less represented in the deck. So now this is the always exciting part of going through your lands and figuring out, do I have enough to cast things on time? Do I have enough untapped lands to save my butt when things aren't going well? So I up the copies of Stormcarved Coast and Haunted Ridge to go along with Shipwreck Marsh, just checking the numbers one more time. Taking out some of the early game things like Darkslick Shores. Remove a couple copies of the Mirrex, since we're so wide on colors. We have so many colors. I don't want to go too heavy on the Mirrex, even though we are in kind of a poison deck. I want to lean more on the copying spells theme that Red had a little bit of in their deck. Push-pull also I wasn't sold on, but you know what I am sold on? A Flotsam and Jetsam kind of fills a similar role, and I figure we have enough direct removal with our copies of Vraska's Fall and Drown, and not to mention our board wipes, that we're going to be okay if we keep push and pull out. And I really don't like pull for a late game spell. I'd rather have Jetsam, since that can get us non-creature things to do if our opponent doesn't have any creatures in the grave. So now back to your regularly scheduled arenaing. All right, this looks fine. We've got some lands. We've got things to do. We just need a way to put that first poison counter on our opponent. Opponent with the mulligan. Opponent with a great name here as well. Is that a Snake Plissken reference? I hope it is. Starts off with a swamp. We've got our Xander's Lounge enabling a lot of our colors here. Going to lay down this untapped land so that we can Prologue to lead off. Opponent with 2 mana and nothing. Fishy. Let's hit the Prologue. Get him started with a poison counter. First one's free, as they say. Get our Shipwreck Marsh down. Possible Experimental Inquiry here. Tell you what, let's cycle this Lounge instead. Ooh, second Inquiry. All right. Well, glad I made that audible then. Let's go Galvanic Iteration and Experimental Augury. And we'll have enough mana to do it again. Whoa. All the hits here. All right. Well, we've definitely increased the consistency of this deck. Let's go big score. And opponent up to 3 poison counters. There's Vraska. So we can Iteration and Augury again. Yeah, sorry opponent. Too many options here. All right, let's just pass. I know I'm not Vraska-ing, and most of the stuff I want to do is an instant. Great, nothing from the opponent. Let's Galvanic. Experimental Augury. Free copy of that. So we get to pick big score. Opponent gets a poison counter. Ooh, let's take Bombardment. Opponent gets another poison counter. The Xander's Lounge. All right, well, let's go Vraska here then, since we can't slam the Bombardment on the table. And we will draw and proliferate. Yes, we will choose those two. Now, opponent's been doing very little all game, but I suspect this Vraska has a big target on her. Yep. Hero's Downfall to take care of that, so this may be a mono-black control list. Let's go ahead and play Bombardment. Now, hopefully they can't get rid of this, unless they're playing Shatter the Oath. There it is. I was wondering if we're going to see Breach here. I mean, it's a good plan. Cover the early game with removal, and then Breach for the win. Opponent steals our Vraska, and they've got a Toxrill. Well, Toxrill's not going to hurt us too much. But definitely going to need to get that Vraska off the table. Eventually. Alright, let's drown on Toxrill just to activate Bombardment. We get Augury. I guess we'll take Chandra. Give our opponent the 7th poison counter. Drown gives them the 8th. And actually we might have enough to put it away. Prologue and Experimental Augury. Opponent didn't even get to attack there. Alright, well, it's working so far. Good game. Ooh, this is a very expensive hand. Yes. Let's try it. Versus Lord Humongous with the Bilious Skull Dweller to start. We'll start off with the Xander's Lounge. Get all of our colors online. Kind of tempted to mull this hand, but the Celestus made me think twice about it. Our opponent looks to be going low and fast here. Nice ill-timed explosion draw off the top as well. Ooh, Braids. Yeah, Braids kind of fell off for a while. I haven't been seeing as much of her on the ladder, even though she's pretty solidly annoying to play against. We pick up a Serum Snare. Opponent's got a Dreg Recycler, clearly focused on sacrifice. Thinking about the Serum Snare, I think we're just going to take this hit, although it is a big one. I don't want to bounce anything because I'm planning on ill-timed explosion if we can get there. Okay, Prologue off the top. Let's go ill-timed explosion. What do we discard? think 1 bombardment. And I guess this... what else? Yeah, let's get rid of that Serum Snare. So 6 damage to everybody. 1 trigger from Vron brings us to 8. Wonder if this opponent's playing Anvil. Tarian's Journal. Alright. Well, let's play the Celestus. Keep the mana development going. Callous Sellsword. I got surprisingly finished off by that one game last week. Let's hit our opponent with the Prologue to get the poison started, and let's go ahead and Arcane Bombardment. Don't think we can be finished here by the Sellsword, but stranger things have happened. Opponent with an Evolving Wilds pulls out another Swamp. Goes attacking, brings us to 6. All right, passes it back. Let's activate the Celestus. Don't need the second bombardment as insurance against these colors. I'd rather start slinging spells. Let's see, Vraska's Fall is an instant, but we got 2 of them. Let's use that to activate bombardment here. Serum Snare. I guess we'll bounce the Journal. Because if nothing else, it's a Proliferate. So another poison counter. Fall sacrifices that creature and gets them up to 3. We get another Celestus activation. Let's pitch the Marsh. Opponent with Urabrask's Forge. That is a good one in a sacrifice-heavy deck. Plus, I don't have any artifact removal. We might just have to continuously try to bounce it with the Serum. All right, let's go Galvanic Iteration just to activate Bombardment. Go Serum Snare on the Forge, and Ill-Timed Explosion for the draw. So we decline. We just get to keep the 2 cards. So nice. Such a nice addition that we received in Karlov Manor. And then let's Augury as well. So we've still got that Galvanic Iteration trigger floating around, and we'll take Vraska's Fall. Nice way to put a poison counter on an opponent and doesn't necessarily need a target. So they're up to 6 poison counters. Let's play this Lounge. Alright, let's go Augury to activate. We pull up Galvanic Iteration. So let's go Ill-Timed Explosion for the draw. We'll decline the rest. Well, I suppose we should have Iteration, because then we could have cast a Proliferate spell. But as it is, our opponent's at 7. Don't know if we quite have it from there. Let's see. We've got Experimental Augury. That'll bring him to 8. And Vraska's Fall brings them to 9. So opponent casts Bloodletter. And let's use Vraska to activate Bombardment. See if we can't get over the finish line. All right, there's Prologue. That's helpful. Ill-Timed Explosion. Take the cards. And let's see. Prologue will get him up to 8. Fall gets you to 9. And we've got Augury for the final poison counter, so it doesn't matter what we take here. And that wraps it up. Okay, good game. All right, Pete, you're in for it now. I'm keeping a hand with no early game interaction. Just kidding. I'm trusting that we're going to draw into something good to control the game until we can get our Arcane Bombardment or Chandra online. This may be green-white enchantments. At least we've gone first. Gives us a little time to find our board wipes. Maybe a big score or 2. So opponent's got Spirited Companion. Play our Haunted Ridge and pass it on back. Overgrown Farmland from the opponent. There's a Jukai Naturalist. And another companion for 1. Good deal on that one. Opponent hits us down to 19. Oh, wow. Never in doubt. I told you we get there. Ill-timed explosion off the top. We're going to discard Iteration and Lounge. I want to keep this Blast Zone. Opponent could remove our Bombardment with something like a Borrowed Time. So Blast Zone is good at taking that out, especially since I have no enchantment removal in here. Alright, opponent with land number 4, Kami of Transience. Fang of Shigeki. Oh, that is an enchantment, isn't it? So the Kami gets a token. Okay, let's play Takenuma. I think this might be worthwhile. Yeah, alright, let's do Vraska's Fall. Opponent thinks they got us. They sacrifice the Fang, and then we've got Drown and Ichor left for the Kami. Looks like that's going to work, so we'll proliferate them up to 2 poison counters. They get the Kami back, but that's okay. This is more of like a everything's a time walk play. We're just kind of delaying them for a little bit. Ah, Calyx is here, though. Calyx is the worst to play against. I'm sure it's great fun when you're playing it. Let's lay down Chandra then. We'll do a little -3. Hit Calyx and Kami of Transience. That means they're going to get the Kami back. But again, if the Kami can't hit you, you know, you can get it back as much as you want, I guess. All right, Kami comes back down. Spirited Companion. So normally this is where you'd see the removal come out. Unless they're not worried about Chandra for some reason. Nope, no ossification, no borrowed time. Let's get down. Demolition Field. We can double up a big score, but then we would have to lose Bombardment. What do? We can't minus Chandra to take these out. Well, let's just go for it. Let's slam the Bombardment. Then we can use Chandra to get us up to 3 mana remaining. And we can cast the Galvanic Iteration just to activate Bombardment. Since I don't believe the iteration will... Oh, no, it is triggering. Opponent scoops it up. Good game. All right, this looks pretty decent. There's no red, but I think we can give it a shot. I tell you, the more you play this game, the more you learn. I'm used to Galvanic Iteration not being able to trigger the things that Arcane Bombardment puts on the stack. But it worked there. I'm going to have to reconsider my whole worldview now. All right, let's Flotsam. We can get this into the grave, do a little investigation. Since it looks like we may have a mono-black opponent. Oh no. There's the Deathcap Glade and a Rot Priest. All right, this game just sped up a little bit. Let's draw off of the clue. Big score. Still no red mana for us. Kind of puts a damper on those plans. Of course, we get the second one then, right off the top. So, 2 options here. We've got Drown in Ichor and Experimental Augury. We could attempt to drown. Yeah, let's do that. Opponent's got no green mana left available, and usually they have a safekeeping. But they could have the black spell that brings it back from the dead. Looks like they don't. Okay. So we kind of dodged that one. That's good. Opponent goes straight into Sheoldred. All right, this is... trying to figure out what this is. Let's go Experimental Augury. It's all lands, so we'll take one of those. And we get Vraska. All right. Let's see here. We could collect evidence with this Deadly Cover-Up, rather than play our Vraska to hit Sheoldred and make that into a treasure. And then we could actually remove the rest of the Rot Priests from our opponent's deck. I kind of like that play. Let's give that a try. Let's get rid of Chandra, since I only have one way to bring her back in this deck. And we'll take a Rot Priest. Although Shieldred would have been good. Rot Priest in the opponent's hand. Ooh. Tyrannax Rex. Anoint with Affliction. Okay. So opponent gets to replace the one we took out of their hand, but they have a backup copy of Shieldred, and man, if they keep drawing lands, they are going to hit that Tyrannax, no problem. Suppose it's inevitable anyway. Alright, so we're going to take a little bit of damage from Shieldred. I don't like doing this, but we're going to play Vraska on 5. Turn Shieldred into a treasure. So if the opponent has an untapped land here, we've got a Tyrannax Rex coming down, most likely. And then our opponent will have to choose who they want to attack. No, it's a Pestilent Siphoner. An opponent just passing. Alright, that worked out well. Okay, let's play down a Blast Zone. Yeah, let's go Galvanic Iteration. And, oh, I ran out of red mana. All right, let's Experimental Augury instead. I was trying to pretend like Chandra was here and double up a big score. We'll take Vraska's Fall. Put counter on Vraska. Ooh, and Blast Zone. That's good. There's a Bombardment. That's nice. Guess we'll take that. And keep the counters going. I think I want to proliferate here too. So opponent doesn't have any counters on them, but we're kind of building Vraska up nicely. Maybe we could get Blast Zone up high enough to take out one of these Tyrannaxes. Okay. Alright, this is fine. Gotta pay attention to how much colored mana we have. Where does the opponent go with the Siphoner? Looks like they're just coming at me. Just Toxic 1 and flying, that's fine. Alright, let's go. We've got Chandra, but we can't play her. We've got Fall, but I'd like to save that for a Rex. So let's go big score. We'll discard the other one. That will at least get us access to the red mana we need for some of our late game win conditions. Otawara could help with a Tyrannax too, but we're going to need some extra stuff to pay for the ward cost. Vraska finds us a lounge. Yeah, I think we just pass here and keep up the Vraska's Fall. Although I am 1 mana short of copying that with a Galvanic Iteration, and the opponent could just sacrifice the Siphoner, so it looks like we are going to take a hit from this. Actually. Alright, tell you what, let's... Alright, let's bounce you. Bounce the Siphoner. So now opponent's tapped out, can't do anything else. We can at least guarantee that we can hit Vraska's Fall. Although it means having to give up Vraska to do it. A little painful. So we could play down Bombardment or Chandra here, but we could also keep up Galvanic Iteration for next turn so that we can copy Vraska's Fall. But if we get Chandra down, she'll copy it for us. If we get Bombardment down, though, that's kind of a better long-term thing. We can take another hit from the other Tyrannax. We do have a deadly cover-up down here that we could hit. Okay, this might work. They go with Pestilent Siphoner. Oh, since they don't have the 7 mana anymore. Okay. Let's go Vraska's Fall then. Before that comes down, we can hit the Tyrannax before they can sacrifice the little toxic fly to it. Yeah, we just get Augury. Okay, let's take backup Bombardment, since green usually gives him access to tear asunder. Keep working on this blast zone, get that up to 7. Alright, back to us. So we're finally on the board with a poison counter. Kind of want to play Chandra. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Other option would be to draw with Lounge or just activate Bombardment with Iteration. Chandra at least gives us more options, so let's go find some spells. Oh, and they've got Vraska's Fall for us. Gets us up to 3 poison counters. At least we get access to the spells, but Chandra is down. Alright. Well, let's just pass it on back. Opponent with the Necrogen Communion for the Siphoner. Okay. Go to attacks here. Alright, now let's go Prologue, just to activate Bombardment, see what we get. Drown is a sorcery, so that's not an option. We pull up Flotsam and Jetsam. That's pretty good. Let's go Augury and Jetsam. So we mill some things. Yeah, I think I will take a Tyrannex. Augury finds us... Ooh, ill-timed explosion. Could be okay, at least for the card draw. And yeah, let's get Blast Zone up to 7. Opponent's up to 3 poison counters, so we're still on the hook to take this hit from the Siphoner. But now that we got a Flotsam and Jetsam under there, feeling much better about this. So we are at 6 poison counters from that attack. Alright, let's go. Let's see. Anoint exiles a creature. It's an instant, but they've got to pay the ward cost on the Tyrannex, so I think we're safe to attack with that. Let's go ill-timed explosion here. Activate Bombardment. See if we can't hit another hasty creature. Yeah, I guess we go Augury first. Then Flotsam and Jetsam. Gonna skip the deadly cover up because I want to get in and attack with this creature. Let's see. Some removal. I think we can take Shieldred. Let's see. We'll take a fall off the top. We will keep Blast Zone at 7. Give our opponent another counter. Draw a couple of cards. Gain some life back with Shieldred. That's nice. Alright. Gonna be tough for our opponent to remove this Tyrannex this turn. Nice hit for 8. Get them up to 8 poison counters. And actually, let's bounce this with a Serum Snare for the Proliferate. What do you got, opponent? We might have enough to put this away here if the opponent doesn't have anything for us. Opponent up to 9 and Vraska's Fall. For number 10. Did we just out-poison a poison deck? I think we did. Good game.